Joining me now is Jim Hotelling from Hillside Garden Landscaping. Jim, today we're mixing it up a little bit. You're going to be asking me some questions, which I'm a little bit nervous about, so we'll see how this goes. And I'm assuming that I won't get every answer correct, so you're going to have to help me out here. Jim, what's your first question for me?
Well, first of all, as we go into spring and we look out now and we see all these beautiful hillsides covered with green leaves, and there's 12 months in the year, and how long are the trees actually have leaves?
So I am thinking maybe like 5 to 6 months.
That is a little depressing when you think about it, but you're right. About 5 months, you figure about mid-May to about the middle of October is 5 months. Some trees are longer, whatever. But it's interesting. It's kind of a start to some of these talking points. So if you take an average evergreen, like a pine tree or a spruce tree, and the next question is, how long do you think that those trees are in actual active growth mode?
Okay, so I'm thinking maybe during the worm season, but I don't really know. This one was a tricky question for me.
Be tricky is just to get people thinking about it is a pine tree or a spruce tree, once those buds start to expand, there's usually about a 3-week period from the time the bud actually expands till it sets the bud for next year and the needles come out to full length. So, out of that 12-month period, you got about a 3, maybe 4-week period where there's actual active growth on a conifer like that.
Okay, so I was thinking more than that, like maybe 6 months or something. So that's good to know.
Now, you're only talking a few weeks, actually. Um, so, again, this time of year, the leaves are fully out right now. And in the last month, most of May, if you're one of these people who like to go out and walk around the woods, you see a lot of these call them spring ephemerals, these spring wildflowers like the trilliums and the Dutchman's breeches and the mayapple and all those kind of plants. And again, it's one of these questions that you just got to think about a little bit is why are they blooming at that time of the year?
Okay, so I phoned a friend on this one. So this was kind of a this was kind of a joint answer. We have our meteorologist Brian Schrader in the room, and so I'm having some help from him. He says because they have to do it early because the higher the trees leaf out, there's less radiation on the forest floor, possibly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's partly right, but basically you think you're approaching June 21st, you're approaching the time of year when your days are the longest. Brian will appreciate this. The days are the longest, so you're getting, and the leaves are not out in the trees yet. So you're getting maximum amount of light on the forest floor at that time.
Gotcha.
So you're balancing the time when the frost goes away, when things can start to grow before they leaf out, and they have that little bit of a window where they can go out and they can bloom and reproduce. And then the rest of the year, they just kind of sit there with their leaves and do their thing.
Okay, that
without
makes sense.
oh. So there's a couple of interesting ones like woodland leeks. If anybody likes to go out and pick leeks, which is a wild onion, they actually come out and leaf out in the spring, and they'll die down by midsummer. You won't even know they're there, and then in the fall they actually will send up the flowers, which is totally unique. So the other question is, why do you think they have such broad leaves? A lot of them.
Probably because they need more sun.
You're pretty close on that one.
Okay.
You're finally getting the point of this whole thing. But basically, broader leaves are able to soak up more sun. So you will find a lot of plants, and even, it's a general rule, not, people are going to call me on and say, well, there's other plants that don't fall into this category, but many, even hostas, which is a perennial that, is a really good shade perennial, has very big, broad leaves, and that, they're growing in the shade. They can soak in a lot more sun than if they had a narrower leaf blade. So that was a little fun. It was just kind of tidbits.
I feel
See
like
how Brian did on that one.
I will, yeah. Thank you so much, Jim. That was a lot of fun. We're going to have to do this again sometime soon, too. I really did learn a lot today, so thank you so much, Jim.
You're welcome. This is Jim Hotelling, home gardener from Hillside Garden Landscaping.